F. Scott Fitzgerald, born as Francis Scott Key Fitzgerald on September 24, 1896 in St. Paul, Minnesota. A bright, handsome, and ambitious boy, the pride and joy of his parents and especially his mother.
When I was a young boy, I attended the St. Paul Academy. When I was 13, I saw my first piece of writing appear in print. It was a detective story printed in the school newspaper. When I was 15 years old, my parents sent me to the Newman School, which is a prestigious Catholic preparatory school in New Jersey. There at school, Fitzgerald met Father Sigourney Fay, who noticed his talent with the written word and pursued his literary ambitions. After he graduated from the Newman School in 1913, he decided to stay in New Jersey to continue his artistic development at Princeton University. While at Princeton, Fitzgerald dedicated himself utilizing his craft as a writer. He wrote scripts for Princeton's famous Triangle Club musicals, as well as frequent articles for the Princeton Tiger Human magazine and stories for Nassau Literary magazine, at the expense of his coursework. In 1917, I was placed at academic probation and later dropped out of school to join the Army. I was commissioned as second lieutenant in the infantry and assigned to Camp Sheridan, which is outside of Montgomery, Alabama. It was there that I met her, Zelda Sayer. She was 18 and the daughter of the Supreme Court judge. Upon his discharge, she moved to New York City, hoping to launch a career in advertising lucrative enough to convince Zelda to marry him. During his career, F. Scott Fitzgerald writes This Side of Paradise. The novel was published in 1920, and almost overnight, at the age of 24, he turned into one of the country's most promising young writers. 1 week after the novel's publication, he married Zelda. In 1921, they had one child, a daughter named Frances Scott Fitzgerald. He earned himself a reputation as a playboy and hindered his reputation as a serious literary writer. Seeking a change of scenery to spark his creativity, in 1924, Fitzgerald moved to France. And it was there, in Valsqueur, that Fitzgerald wrote his greatest novel, The Great Gatsby. Published in 1925, The Great Gatsby. Some of his most notable stories included The Diamond as Big as the Ritz, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, The Camel's Back, and The Last of the Bells. In 1922, Fitzgerald published his second novel, The Beautiful and the Damned, the story of the troubled marriage of Anthony and Gloria Patch. The Beautiful and the Damned helped to cement his stature as one of the greatest chroniclers and satirists of the culture of wealth, extravagance, and ambition that emerged during the affluent 1920s. His wife Zelda also suffered from mental health issues as they spent the late 1920s moving back and forth between Delaware and France. In 1930, she was briefly committed to a mental health clinic in Switzerland, and after that, Fitzgerald returned to the United States in 1931. She suffered another breakdown and entered the Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore. In 1934, after years of toil, Fitzgerald finally published his fourth novel, Tender is the Night. After another 2 years, lost to alcohol and depression in 1937, Fitzgerald attempted to revive his career as a screenwriter and freelance story writer in Hollywood, and he achieved modest financial, if not critical, success for his efforts. He began work on another novel, The Love of the Last Tycoon, in 1939, and he had completed over half the manuscript when he died of a heart attack on December 24, 1940, at the age of 44. F. Scott Fitzgerald died believing himself as a failure.